Veritas Files here, driving down a dark highway at night. Might seem like I'm doing a reenactment of the end of Terminator, but maybe that's appropriate for the subject I want to discuss. I want to talk about our thinking regarding economic collapse. Before I do that, though, let me just throw a shout out to Josiah's Backpack, who turned me on to an affordable camera, Small Wonder RCA. It's a very good camera for what it's designed for, and one advantage, and for all you patriots out there preparing, one advantage of this camera is that it is powered by just AA batteries. In a collapse environment, the idea that you're going to be able to find a replacement battery power pack is probably a fantasy. I would think almost entirely. So anything that will take small AA batteries or even AAA batteries is a very good choice. Anyway, thanks to Josiah for that. Good Christian guy. I really enjoy his videos. What I wanted to talk about, though, was our thinking with regard to collapse preparation. After receiving a lot of private messages over the last few days as a consequence of doing some videos, I'm getting the impression from some that they're not taking this kind of thing very seriously. They're not thinking it through in enough detail. And I think that's dangerous. I think that's not prudent. I think it's unwise. I think it's not a good idea, and no sensible person would do that. No sensible person would essentially play at collapse preparation. And that doesn't, by saying that, I do not mean that you need to get all Rambo serious and build a bunker, and get ridiculous. Most people can't afford that. I'm just talking about being reasonable, and I don't think the people that are playing at preparation are being reasonable. We need to stop, or at least tone down, all the different debates about this or that conspiracy, this or that chemtrail, this or that whatever, flu vaccine, whatever. We need to start just accepting the fact, whether it happens 6 months from now or 6 years from now, accepting the fact of an economic collapse in this country. And we're not talking about a partial economic collapse either. We're talking about a virtual complete collapse of this nation as a power in the world. And what that means, I don't think most of us know what that means. The collapse of the U.S. dollar, that has been the default currency for the world, reserve currency for the world for the last 50 to 60 years, means a lot of things, but some of the things that we don't think about, everybody thinks about the food, I suppose. Some people think about gas. Those things will be non-existent after a collapse. Yeah, it's true the government may impose price controls, which I've already said would lead to shortages. But that won't last long either, because our government operates on dollars. They will not be able to buy new fuel reserves. Once those fuel reserves are gone, they're gone, folks. They're gone. So if you have a job and you don't live next door to where you work, or you can't bike 12 miles to where you work, or you don't have a 500 or 1,000 gallon tank of gasoline or diesel in your backyard, you're not going to work. I don't think people understand, again, what this means. Medicine costs money, folks. Pharmacies don't give it away for free, and governments don't buy it for free. If the dollar collapses, any medicines that anyone in your family requires for a standard of living in their life, or just their life itself, is gone. When they run out of their 3-month supply or their month supply, 30 days, of blood pressure medication, of insulin, of heart medication, of arthritis medication, whatever it might be, it's gone, folks. Until we begin to recover, which could be 2 decades, and we may not even be a United States of America at that time. And that assumes all kinds of other things, that we don't get invaded, that whatever. I mean, it assumes all kinds of stuff. Until that happens, all that stuff is gone. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to be real with people. You guys need to think about this in some detail. And a lot more detail than what I'm seeing. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm still trying to get detail too. I'm still learning. I'm still reading. I'm still talking with you guys. I mean, you guys are great in many cases because you've taught me. I've learned a lot from you. I just mentioned Josiah. I've learned a lot from people like him. But we need to think about these things. We're all putting up food supplies, right? What happens when you don't start losing weight with everybody else when they're starving to death? Well, folks, they'll kill you. Human nature being what it is, being a Christian and being in law enforcement, I think I have a pretty good idea of what human nature is. It is desperately wicked, folks. They'll kill you. If they see, now you haven't advertised that you have food verbally, but physically you have. In other words, even though you've prepped and you're going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to eat as much as everybody else, or as much as you'd like to. You're going to have to look, at least superficially, something like everybody else does, or they'll kill you. They'll take your food. And all that preparation is for nothing. And that could be the case anyway, because you can't make yourself bulletproof. Reasonable preparation means reasonable preparation. There's only so much that you can do to account for every factor, because we are not omniscient. We have finite minds, and there's not much more we can do than just apply our knowledge wisely to the events that we see unfolding. It's called prudence. That's all we can do. That's all I'm asking for. When you think about these issues, you need to think about them long term, and you need to think about them in detail. If you women out there have ever taken a rape aggression defense course, they teach you what to do if you're ever accosted by someone who intends to do you harm, rape you. The reason they do that is so that when you go through the crisis of someone trying to do you bodily harm, trying to do violence to you, you'll know exactly what to do. There will be no panic. There will be no need for deep thought. It'll be memory, muscle memory, and you'll just go to town. All right? Same thing happens in sports. Same thing happens in the military. There's a saying in the military that the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle. Some of them say the less you bleed in war. Depends on who you're talking to. But that saying is very true. And as a community of patriots, of people that know what's going to happen, we need to start thinking about these things more seriously and in more detail. You need to start thinking about the kind of fuel supplies you might need. If you intend to leave and go to another location, your 5-gallon can of gasoline that has been sitting out in your shed for 3 months or 4 months that you use for your lawnmower, well, that ain't going to do. Where I'm going, I would need at least probably 100 gallons of fuel. You guys need to figure out the same with regard to all the different preparations you're making. You need to start making meals with the food that you've stored and figure out what kind of survival meals can you make. How good do they taste? And how long will they last? And there's all kinds of things that we need to start taking into account and start being a little more serious about. I don't mean to offend anybody. Like I said, you guys are great. 99% of you guys are outstanding. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate all the support and the encouragement that you guys give me. So this is just my way of encouraging you to keep doing the good work of thinking about these issues, brainstorming, and bringing that information to the rest of us so that we can all benefit. Maybe I'll do some more videos later. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Take care. God bless.